How much did you look at the current facility that you were in and its current capacity of where you were at? Like, there's like you had the facility that you were operating out of, and was there a percentage that you looked at that said, okay, once I get up to 80%, 85%, 90%, like, did you have a number, or were you just like, all right, we're ready to go and do that? And would you recommend to people that they do, look at the deficiencies of their current scene? Because I just have a problem with like people. I'm gonna go start a location over here where I'm at 40% capacity of where I should be right now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that's contingent on the size of the organization, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like to say, like, did we open another location before one was a little further along the maturity cycle? Yes.
Yeah.
But when we zoom out and look at the overall size of the organization, how it's performing, it hit the earlier check boxes that I was talking about. Is like, are we covering our bills, having money left over to allocate in a reserve fund, and have money that we can put aside to invest in the company? I always come back to those things. So, I don't want to have underperforming clinics that are in the red.
Yes.
And or the company barely breaking even or in the red, and even thinking about opening up another location, because all I'm going to do is expand that financial condition. And if that's already stressful, you can imagine the added stress. And then the pressure. I always say, like, again, going back to like how running a private practice organization is like playing a sport, like you got to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
So if things get too serious and too like not fun, if that's even proper English, that pressure like permeates out through the entire organization, and people don't really do well under sustained amount of pressure.
Yes.
We can have these bursts of pressure moments, and in high performance athletics, we call them buzzer beater shots, right? Or, the winning shot for the game, winning touchdown, et cetera. But you don't want to be under that duress like all the time. The body's just not built for that, right? So just being honest about that too.
I never really looked at it like that. You're kind of right. I mean, I know there's a necessity level that is good to have for people, but maybe it shouldn't be something that is continuous. I don't know. I guess I have to think about that a little bit more. But I think what you're saying is, you can't have a work environment where it's uncomfortably not fun. Obviously, I think that is a word, and where there's just constant pressure all the time. Is that what you're saying?
Because there's ebbs and flows, so hopefully we're having more fun.
Yeah.
Right. And things aren't so serious like all the time. We know that like it's not always sunshine and rainbows when you're in, working with the public and working with a team. But generally speaking, going back to something earlier that I mentioned that was on the checkbox list, is like, is the group good? Are we okay? Are we ready for more? Because it is taking your game to another level, there will be some things that are on a necessity level in a short term. So if we're already having, like, again, that plate fulleth and overfloweth now.
Yes.
We don't want to tip people over and burn them out either. Right.
Yeah.
Or the organization. Right.
For sure. Did you, look at how well you were recruiting at that point in time, or were you just always confident that you would be able to fill up the clinic with good people?
Yeah. Well, if we're talking about staffing, we always wanted to have someone identified who's going to be the leader of this new venture, new clinic.
You did that prior.
Yeah. So that's where, having your bench, developing your team, having at least one person that's a rising star that you're pouring into developing, that that they have some advancement opportunity and some more game in them, and they're eager for that too. That's another one of the checkbox things. Or else you're going to be scrambling later to figure out who's getting over there to lead that clinic.
Yes, for sure.
Right? And the owner usually has already enough on their plate. So to ensure that success early and to begin to build something around a key team member, it's a nice approach.
Yeah, I can imagine that has to be a priority, because, someone's got to be over there that you trust. Someone's got to be over there that you think can grow it. And like, how quickly then did you expect it to get to a point where it was solvent all by itself? Did you have a time frame? Did you set like targets or anything like that?
I think early on we didn't know what we didn't know, but certainly with like anything that you do enough times over, you start to have a level of prediction and confidence. And, I started seeing a trend that we could usually get it into, into the black by 12 months.
Okay, that's pretty quick. Yeah.
So that was the conservative runway. Ideally, we were getting there in about 6 to 8 months when we really had it dialed in. And so, because there were some other things that we were looking at with demographics, like, do we already have a following perhaps in that area, whether it's a patient following, referral network following?